Good morning, everybody, and a happy Saturday morning. As you can probably tell by my voice, I have caught a cold. I'm going to do my best to soldier through this video. It's another long one. So let's just get busy, shall we? Let's go. All right, starting off, we have a new portrait of Prince William. It was taken during his visit to the Warren House Inn pub last year. Looking good. We're going to go on to Zara now. She's competing in the prestigious Brahman International Horse Trials. Now, they're saying this represents one of the most important competitions in the British eventing calendar. It has top riders from across the nation. And of course, Zara will be riding Showtime and Class Affair, her two horses. Now, the children will not be in attendance because they'll be in school, but they've been seen there before. This is a really nice thing for Zara. We know what a great equestrian she is. All right, let's move on. We're going to move on to King Charles now. He stepped out to mark the 400th anniversary of the Queen's Chapel with a royal service that lasted about 40 minutes. There was music by the gentlemen and children of His Majesty's Chapel's Royal Choir. There was all kinds of music. And after the service, the king was shown the newly commissioned piece of altar plate. Pretty cool. And I say that because this is the first addition to the chapel's silverware since 1688. The chapel itself, by the way, was completed in 1625. So the next day, the king met with British Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner and the Mayor of London, Mr. Khan, as he arrived at the South by Southwest, which took place in London. For those who don't know, this is a culture, technology, and creativity festival that takes place in East London. And it's supposed to serve as a platform to showcase the future of creative industries, and it's supposed to help support emerging artists and innovative projects. He also walked, the king did, through a immersive thing called grounding. Looks like he was having a really good time. And of course, he stopped to talk to the people. This one woman was holding a dog that he, stopped to speak to. Now, here's the interesting part. He then left there and without any fuss or muss, he just walked through. The public was shocked. Here comes King Charles because he was headed over to Spitalfields. So King Charles went to Old Spitalfields Market, which in case you don't know is a covered market. And there's been a market on that site for 350 years. Now, as you can see, people were very happy to see him. Now, he walked up to this one market stall and he's looking at all this stuff out there. And the king actually looks at him and goes, "How do you pack this all up at the end of the day?" And the guy looks at him and goes, "It takes me hours." I'd love to go through a market like that. So as you can see, the general public was very, very happy to see him. Everybody wanted to shake his hand. Everybody whipped out their phones. He's just so personable. I just think he's a wonderful man, and I personally think he's doing a wonderful job. All right, let's move on to Queen Camilla now. She had multiple events at a town called Hexham. So one of the first things that she did, by the way, was she met a lot of crowds on Beaumont Street. There were some primary school children also there, as well as, people on the regular. My goodness, these kids were totally excited to see her. Just look at their faces. And when the Queen was done there, she went to the only privately owned race course. It's Northumberland's only race course. It's called the Hexham Race Course. The Queen was given a tour around the venue, which is 600 feet above the town. So you have gorgeous views across the country. And there's a jump track, which sits in the, amphitheater there. She spoke with some ground staff, and then under a picture of the late Queen's horse, which won a race there in 2019, Camilla unveiled the Queen's stand. Looks like a beautiful track. Now, when the Queen was done there, she headed over to the Hexham Abbey and took a little tour around the beautiful, I guess you would call it a chapel church. Camilla also met, just so you know, with some community leaders while she was there as well. Again, it looks like a beautiful abbey, I guess is what you would call it. Now, when she was done with that, there was a very small reception where she spoke with some people, and then she went to the local market where she walked around there as well. And it looks like she was looking at some honey. That's what I think it was. There were some anti-royal protesters there, but as usual, she just completely ignored them and kept moving on. All right, next up, we have Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh, and he was reviewing the annual Founders' Day parade at the Royal Hospital, Chelsea. This took place on June 5th, and Founders' Day celebrates the founding of the Royal Hospital, Chelsea in 1681 by King Charles II. Interesting bit of information. Each year, a different royal reviews the parade on behalf of whoever is monarch. They're saying that the monarch very rarely attends except on milestone years. And Edward did this for the last time in 2017. This event has also taken place nearly every year since the hospital opened in 1692. So the institution is now over 330 years old, and today it gives a home and a sense of purpose for the Chelsea pensioners. And the pensioners, by the way, were there with Edward. All right, let's move on to Princess Anne. She brought together over 100 charities at Buckingham Palace to mark her 75th birthday, which is coming. So it's called the Charities Forum. There were about 200 people present, and she does have over 300 charities and organizations that she currently supports. But the forum is aimed to discuss key topics such as challenges facing the sector, public trust in charities, and the opportunities and risks presented by new technology. So Princess Anne got up there to the podium after hearing from 3 charity leaders who spoke about the financial challenges that the charities faced. One of the things that Anne said while she was at the podium before the reception was, and I'm quoting, "The responsibility and respect that you give to your own organizations, the people who work for you, and your own beneficiaries is perhaps the key to what makes you so important. Respect and responsibility. Thank you very much for doing what you do." And if there is anybody who knows about respect and, all of that, it's Anne. Now, we're going to stick with her because as part of Volunteers Week on June 4th, she visited the National Coast Watch Institution Station. Now, remember, she's the patron of this charity, and it is run entirely by volunteers. Looking great as usual, Princess Anne. All right, let's move on. I told you Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Thompson got married. These fabulous wedding photos came out. There's 2 of them from the church. He wore his kilt, and then there's 2 at the reception afterwards where he changed out of the kilt and put on pants, but they look very happy together. Congratulations. And finally, you guys, we have some good news. David Beckham is finally going to be awarded a knighthood. He will be a Sir in the King's Birthday Honor List next week. And of course, his wife Victoria will be known as Lady Beckham. We know that he's been wanting a knighthood for years. And this is going to bring some joy to the Beckham household, especially considering what's going on with, their son and daughter-in-law. We do know that David Beckham has struck up a very firm friendship with King Charles. We know that he's an ambassador for the King's Foundation. We know that he was seen at the Chelsea Flower Show with Charles and Camilla. There have been a few hints dropped here and there that it might be happening, but now it is happening. And by the way, apparently, according to these articles, the politicians and fellow sports stars have spent years calling for him to receive this knighthood. So I'm glad he's finally getting it. I never forgot when the Queen died, he queued for hours to pass her coffin. He didn't cut the line. I love this man. All right, let's move on. Remember I told you the other day Harry wanted to change their name to Spencer, and we knew there was an issue with the passports, where there's always another side to it, and now we know what the other side is. Shocking. Just listen to this.
And the Duke and Duchess of Sussex explored changing their family name to Spencer amid fears that the King and the Home Office were deliberately blocking their children's passport applications. Astonishing allegations, this from Harry and Meghan. They applied for new passports using the surname Sussex, but were met with excuses and delays. Anyway, They said they should have got the passport within weeks. A source close to Harry and Meghan told The Guardian, obviously, that the couple believed the applications were being deliberately blocked because the King didn't want Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to use the royal titles. But after lawyers for the Sussexes sent a letter threatening to pursue a data subject access request, which would have revealed details about this delay, they say they were miraculously issued with a passport. Well, I'm joined now by the editor-at-large of the Mail on Sunday, Charlotte Griffith. Charlotte, thank you very much. Tremendous to have you on. This is a really astonishing allegation by Harry and Meghan.
Yes, and I have to say, the sources close to Harry and Meghan are a little bit confused because they say two things. One, that they think the passport was blocked because of the HRH title, and two, because they were using the name Sussex. But Archie and Lily's surname is Mountbatten-Windsor, so that might have caused a delay in itself because they'd suddenly changed the surname. And second of all, it's my understanding that they applied for this passport before the Queen had died. It wasn't until Charles became king that Archie and Lilibet can use the titles HRH.
Right.
Because you have to be the grandchild of the monarch. So they were applying before they could lose the HRH titles. So that's where the delay came from, in my opinion.
To gratuitously accuse the King of something like this is really, really surprising. Just to bring us back to where we started with this then, in terms of this passport issue, they say that they went to submit a data subject access request or whatever it is, which I think would reveal all of the discussions between, say, the palace and maybe the Home Office or whoever it is, and that could have been quite embarrassing and incriminating. So they just got the passport. You just don't buy that.
I don't particularly buy it. I mean, they said they had this insufferable 12-week-long wait. Now, at the time, waits were at least 10 weeks anyway because of there'd been COVID and then everyone was applying for passports after COVID. It was a few years ago, don't forget. Plus, the added complication that they put the wrong surname on and the HRH before the kids were entitled to an HRH. So that would have actually caused quite a lot of confusion. The Passport Office probably would have had to write to Buckingham Palace. And Buckingham Palace have denied that they blocked it in any way. They are already...
Well, there was a story, I believe, in your fabulous newspaper over the weekend, which was that Harry had explored changing his surname to Spencer, and now he's maybe tried to hit back with this. But Charlotte, thank you very much.
So there you go. That's what happened. They applied for the passports with the HRH on them while the Queen was still alive. And they applied with the name Sussex when the children's legal last name is Mountbatten-Windsor. But of course, that didn't fit into their victim narrative, the real story. So they put out that fake one. I mean, they just don't stop. All right, next up, they're actually saying that the chance of a royal reconciliation may not be possible. I've been saying that for so long now, it's a joke. They're saying that relations between Harry and Charles have been so fractured that palace insiders believe that a reconciliation just can't happen. There's no turning back. While King Charles remains tender towards his son, he cannot risk communication with him because they know that anything they say or do will end up in a book, in a podcast, in a magazine, in an interview. And William, it's being said, has absolutely no interest in mending fences. So the king's inner circle are telling him that he shouldn't make peace with his son in a way that would hurt Prince William's future reign. That's how bad it is. William's like, you know what? He's damaged the monarchy. He's damaged my legacy. He's damaging George's legacy. He's out. Now, as far as that stupid video goes, they're saying that Harry and Meghan are undignified, unroyal. It's just disgusting. And I think this was taped because they planned on giving it to Netflix. That's what I think this was taped for. The more I thought about it, this was supposed to be in Netflix, but it got cut out of Netflix. That's just what I think. She just gets more and more raunchy as the video goes on. It's just disgusting. I don't know what else to say. And people that have had children have said, I've had multiple babies and I couldn't do that if I was about to give birth. I mean, let's face it, something is definitely wrong with the view here. Now, Megyn Kelly, who has never entertained the thought of a surrogate, is suddenly on the bandwagon. Listen to this.
Meghan Markle posted a bizarre video on her social media yesterday, which sent several people into absolute meltdown. It is the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape I've seen in a long time. This is deeply problematic on a number of levels. Number one, here's the problem. We don't like you, Meghan Markle. We don't like you. And no amount of posting videos that you think are going to humanize you will make us like you. You've already shown us your true colors. We know who you are. You helped kill the queen. You didn't give two shits about calling the royal family racist while Prince Philip was on his deathbed and casting aspersions on him. You have completely undermined all the amazing gifts that this family has given you as nothing and suggested that they didn't care you were suicidal and they were the ones who drove you there. So she has absolutely no love lost between her and most people who may be somewhat warm towards the royal family, even if we're not big on royalty. The other thing I'm going to say, and I know this is weird, but there's one of those conspiracy theories on the internet that she might not have actually carried her babies, one or both, that they may have used a surrogate. Trust me, because I'm neck deep in all the news around these two. And there are many people who long before today are convinced she used surrogates and that her pregnancies were fake, one or both of them. And this is the only time that I've actually indulged the theory, because if we can show that video again, I don't know, can we show it without playing the weird sound? That belly looks very abnormal. That it looks very strange. If you look up close in the video, and I encourage people, look at this. It looks like there's like a bag or like some sort of something shoved up under a dress. It does not look like a pregnant belly. It looks all bumpy. It's very strange. It looks like what you'd get if you put like a pillowcase full of like socks or something under your dress. You got to look up close. There's very strange bumps coming off of that pregnant belly. I don't know why, Stu, but for the first time ever, I'm kind of like, is this something we should be indulging? Because it doesn't look normal to me. The belly doesn't look normal, doesn't look like where a pregnant woman's belly is, and I don't understand what all those bumps on the belly are.
So with that said, I would think that them putting out that video has hurt their case dramatically. Now, I want to say one more thing. Several people have said that a couple of other YouTubers have identified that this person dancing in the video is not Harry. I do know it seems a little odd. He's got his hoodie up like he doesn't want to be seen in the video and he wants to create that little bit of effect. But if you look at the last piece, when I slow it down and he goes in front of the video, it is my opinion that that is Harry. There he is, nice and slow, people. All right, you guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If you're subscribed, please double check, make sure you're still subscribed before you go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, Gettr, Rumble, email, a link to my father's book for sale on Amazon, a link to my second channel, and a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.